Shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump warned on Thursday that Iran could face a very traumatic outcome if negotiations fail within a month, the United States' largest warship has reportedly been redirected toward the Middle East. Reports indicate the Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group has been reassigned from the Caribbean to the region amid rising tensions. USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN 78, is expected to operate alongside USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea, reinforcing the U.S. naval presence as the regional situation grows more volatile. According to accounts, Ford's crew was notified of the new deployment on Thursday, February 13th. Sailors had been anticipating a return to homeport within roughly 2 weeks, but the updated tasking will postpone the carrier's planned return to the Virginia coast. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how much damage can USS Gerald R. Ford inflict on Iran in 24 hours. Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted and fastest VPN brand that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte. NordVPN provides a 256-bit encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy and also enables you to access contents that are blocked based on geolocation. Its threat protection system helps you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. NordVPN application is available for all the major platforms as well as browsers. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive saving by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The USS Gerald R. Ford is the newest U.S. Navy supercarrier, carrying an air wing of roughly 75 to 90 aircraft. The Ford's air wing is more capable than full air force of many countries, and that includes Iran. Its air wing typically includes 3 squadrons of single-seat FA-18E and 1 of 2-seat FA-18F Super Hornets, plus a squadron of EA-18G Growler electronic attack jets, a squadron of C-2A Greyhound logistics planes, an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye airborne radar squadron, and 2 squadrons of MH-60R and S helicopters. Currently, F-35C Lightning II stealth fighters are not operationally deployed on the supercarrier. In sustained high-tempo operations, Ford's air wing is engineered for up to 160 sorties per day, with a surge capacity of about 270 sorties over 24 hours. In other words, in a crisis, the carrier could launch roughly 270 combat flights in one day. If the Ford achieved 270 sorties in 24 hours, the air wing could parcel them out as follows. EW seed flights, 40 sorties. Growlers equipped with anti-radiation missiles like AGM-88 HARM, AGM-88 EAAR-GM, and AAR-GM extended range, as well as jammers would lead attacks on known air defense radars and missile sites, for example, S-300 sites near Isfahan, Bavar radars, SAM batteries around Tehran. Cap interception, 30 sorties. A portion of sorties must provide combat air patrol to defend the strike package and carrier, especially early against any Iranian fighters. FA-18 with air-to-air missiles would patrol likely flight corridors. AEW and logistics, 30 sorties. E-2D Hawkeye aircraft would fly repeated radar cover missions, coordinating strikes and warning of any Iranian activity. Some sorties by C-2A or helicopters would support mid-air refueling and plane handling, though 24-hour operations might rely on pre-positioned tankers instead. Strike missions, 170 sorties. FA-18E and F Super Hornets would fly these missions. Super Hornet has 11 weapon stations and is commonly loaded with a mix of bombs and air-to-air missiles. Each can carry up to 10 1,000-pound GBU-32 Joint Direct Attack munitions, JDAMs, or 4 to 6 2,000-pound GBU-31 JDAMs. A 24 hours window looks small, but because of Ford's capabilities, it will have significant impact. The damage will be done through EW seed and strike sorties, which are 40 and 170 respectively. Air operations. Decades of sanctions and limited access to spare parts have left the Iranian Air Force operating an increasingly obsolete mix of combat aircraft, many of them aging platforms acquired decades ago. In terms of numbers and capability, This force pales in comparison to the modern fighter wings carried by a single U.S. aircraft carrier. Iranian Air Force will not be a big threat, but it will not be left untouched. By cratering runways, for example in Tehran, Tabriz, Isfahan, and destroying parked aircraft, the Ford could largely incapacitate the Iranian Air Force. 30 strike sorties with 8 JDAMs each, for a total of 240 munitions could accomplish this. Air defenses. In each of the 40 SEAD sorties against air defense assets, 4 HARM or its advanced variants could be carried for a total of 160 missiles. If 2 to 3 missiles are allocated for a SAM site, more than 50 can be hit. This is a pretty big number. SEAD sorties would knock out several radar installations and SAM launchers, especially fixed ones. While Iran's AD is dispersed, it is not very sophisticated and it will take a major hit. Note that when Israeli Air Force hit Iran, it literally owned the skies over Tehran, and not a single loss occurred. C2 nodes. In a country like Iran, where the structure is hierarchical top-down, disabling even few command and control nodes could gravely impact the ability to mount a coordinated defense. Around 40 strike sorties with 6 2,000-pound JDAMs each would deploy 240 munitions. If 10 bombs are allocated for a command node, around 20 to 25 such nodes could be hit. This has the potential to cripple large part of the command structure. Ballistic missile and drone sites. Iran has developed a large arsenal of missile and drones, but these are most vulnerable when on ground. U.S. intelligence will most likely have list of high-priority sites. If the remaining 100 strike sorties are used to attack them, each with 8 1,000-pound JDAMs, 800 munition will be delivered. Provided 20 are allocated for each sites, 40 sites could be hit. This has the potential to greatly reduce Iran's retaliation capabilities. While fully eliminating Iran's missile and drone threat in one day is unlikely, a huge dent could be induced. If the USS Gerald R forward sortie capacity is fully utilized for strikes, it could severely degrade many Iranian military systems in 24 hours, knocking out large swathes of air defenses, cratering runways across multiple air bases, and destroying hundreds of missile and munitions. Technically speaking, USS Gerald R. Ford's air wing alone would create so much pressure on Iranian military and the Ali Khamenei regime that it would be on the edge by the end of that onslaught. Surely some strategic capabilities, deep missiles, hardened facilities, reserve stockpiles, would survive initial attacks. Hence, Iran will be able to retaliate with remaining missiles or asymmetric means against U.S. bases in region or against Israel. But here we will have to take into account that while USS Gerald R. Ford will be at the forefront of a potential campaign against Iran, it will not be alone. The Ford Carrier Strike Group has around 4 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers capable of launching long-range strike weapons like Tomahawks. U.S. fighter and bombers in the region will also join in. At least one Ohio-class SSGN would be there. It can launch 154 Tomahawks. Few Virginia-class subs with their own set of Tomahawks would also pitch in. So we can say that Ford will not only get a great deal of job done by itself in 24 hours, but also pave the way for other U.S. assets to make inroads.